Hello and welcome to another episode of Potside Chats, where we talk all things China.
Right, and today in this episode, we're going to be discussing the 8-point decisions, which are a set of rules to combat bureaucratic excess and corruption, as well as improving party members and government officials' work conduct.
Absolutely. So broadly speaking, these 8 points are all about government inefficiencies and corruption. Being efficient and respecting people's time. So keeping meetings, reports, documentations brief, substantive, and to the point.
Indeed, investigation and research. That means actually getting out of the office and meeting your constituents and experts. We actually did an episode about this on Potside Chat, so you can watch on our channel.
Yes, please do. Regulating spending and behavior. So everything from don't accept bribes, don't abuse your position of power for personal gain, to restricting lavish spending and hedonistic behaviors, both personally and professionally. They also touch on maintaining modest behavior as a Chinese official when you're traveling abroad for work.
Yes, so gone are the days to expect a parade when you go abroad for business.
Gone are the days.
Right, exactly. Not anymore. Well, the 8-point decisions are really important, so much so that the CPC in March rolled out a 4-month-long party-wide review and study of them to help party officials look at their own conduct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why we're talking about it now.
Right. According to data released by the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, China's top watchdog agency, in the first 4 months of 2025, there were over 63,000 violations investigated.
Wow.
Crazy.
Well, I wonder, in a historical content, where this all sort of falls. Because thinking back to 1949, when the PRC was founded, there must have been some sort of socio-political turmoil. And so at that point, the Communist Party of China was a revolutionary movement, and they became the ruling party of a sovereign state. So there needed to be some sort of rules implemented to help with conduct and behavior. Right. So I'm sure that the 8-point rules aren't the first.
Yes.
But yeah.
They evolved over the years into what we know today. They were established back in 2012, and they're been revised periodically, but holding for the most part to those original 2012 8 points. And to round out our historical understanding, we had a lovely sit-down chat with an expert in this field.
Could you please first briefly explain the background of the Central 8-Point Decisions educational campaign?
在党的18大闭幕不到1个月的时间，总书记呢亲自主持制定了中央第1部党内法规，就是中央8项规定。这是我们改进工作作风的第1步啊。通过以上率下的方式，产生了强大的示范效应。从中央8项规定开局破题呢，其实是带动了我们整个的党风政风的转变，而党风政风的转变呢，其实也带来了社风民风的好转。也就是说，8项规定改变了中国。过去11年间，我们看到婚宴上的山珍海味逐渐被光盘行动所取代，天价烟酒也悄然退场。这些都是我们党的18大以来贯彻中央8项规定精神的生动的见证。只要权力监督制约的机制还有不完善的地方，只要还有盲点、漏点，那么滋生腐败的土壤和条件就会仍然存在。那么我们反腐败就必须一直持续不懈地开展。我们普通老百姓感觉到腐败案件的数量居高不下呢，也是因为我们目前的曝光处理的力度比较大。我们通过公开曝光大量的腐败案件，起到了警示、教育、威慑其他的党员干部的作用。所以，我们对于反腐败斗争仍然要保持坚韧不拔的决心和信心，持之以恒的把反腐败斗争、把自我革命进行下去。
Fascinating, very insightful interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. It was interesting. And I guess then also in modern context, thinking of now and the administration that's in power now, they're really working on rooting out and remedying corruption. And what makes this era really unique, I think, is just both the scale of it and then also the visibility of all the disciplinary actions.
Yeah, absolutely. especially in the age of social media, where people who are charged and sentenced, their issues are more public, and it's easier for the public to file complaints if they see any evidence of wrongdoing.
Indeed. Well, it goes to show it's not just ideological, it's practical, because inefficiency and corruption are barriers to progress and modernization, as the administration have repeatedly said. And I think everybody likes to see a bad faith actor get their comeuppance. So with that in mind, let's look at some recent examples of officials who have violated the 8-point disciplines.
True crime time. Get your popcorn. So one of the recent cases that I read about was a former senior official in Chongqing, and he was charged and sentenced to 15 years in prison, fined 5 million yuan.
You're talking about the Dong Hong case.
Yes.
Yeah, I read about this too. It's quite a doozy. Because over his 40 years in politics, and he held various positions, he received over 50 million yuan in what was essentially kickbacks for helping people through abusing his position of power.
Yeah, that's crazy. 50 million, 5 million in restitution seems like a drop in the bucket, but I think maybe 15 years in prison, especially at his age, probably balances that.
He was even using public funds post-retirement to pay for food deliveries to expensive hotels in his family.
That's crazy. Speaking of culinary excess, though, this was the wildest story that so we had to include it. There were a group of officials having a working dinner. They were drinking baijiu, which is very common, in Chinese culture, usually done very responsibly, but in this case, not. To the point where one of their colleagues died of alcohol consumption, overconsumption. Now, they didn't take their colleague to the hospital. They didn't report his death, and they wanted to cover up their own bad behavior, this excessive drinking, to the point that they tried to bribe to pay off the deceased family to keep them quiet about the issue. And right. It was wild.
It is wild.
And the irony of all of that is that meeting was set to specifically talk about the implementation of the 8-point disciplines. Tragic.
Oh, that is insane.
Ridiculous. If you look at the 8-point disciplines, and you were holding this standard up to the governance in your own country, how do you think it would fare? Would it pass muster?
Indeed. Well, actually, this whole topic reminds me of a story in the UK press about our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who accepted tickets to a Taylor Swift concert. And there was a really big public and media backlash to that story.
Absolutely. But in America, we do everything better. We don't accept just concert tickets. We accept jet planes from foreign countries who are not always our friend. So there. And so how do you go about enforcing rules of correct conduct that also maintain public trust? I don't know. It's a tricky one for us right now.
It is, for sure. Because, contrasting this with what if in China, if this was to happen here, well, first off, it wouldn't happen here because government officials, even the smallest little error or something, they'd get some sort of repercussions for it. Because
they take it very seriously because somebody being tarnished like that in public, also tarnishes the party image.
Right.
And we're not having any of that. So there would be swift and immediate consequences.
Right, exactly. Because it was said that the 8-point decisions are going to bring down tigers and flies, meaning high-ranking and low-ranking officials.
Right.
So everyone should be accounted for. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, I think we've covered it. So thank you for watching this episode of Potside Chats. If you've got any comments, then please put them below. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.